Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:35. I would like to call this meeting to order. Vice President Ferguson, would you do the invocation, please?
Good evening, everyone. Father God, we just give you the glory and the honor. We say thank you for keeping us safe another day. We thank you, Lord, for your goodness and your mercy. We ask that your presence be in this place, in this meeting tonight. We ask for your wisdom, your knowledge, and your guidance. We thank you, Lord, for keeping those who are traveling back and forth, the council members who are traveling back and forth from the conference, that bless them for traveling mercies. Father God, we just ask that you bless every citizen in the city, everyone that's affiliated with us, everyone that does business with us. We ask for peace in this nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Sure. Councilwoman Fareed
Will not be with us this evening.
Councilwoman Guillon is traveling. Councilman Hairston.
Here.
Councilman Herring.
Here.
Councilwoman Jones. Here. Council Vice President Ferguson. Here. Council President Curtis.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Vice President Ferguson. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Herring?
Yes, Resolution R03-2024, a resolution to authorize legal work to form a nonprofit. We received an email, and Councilwoman Fareed, and I think Councilwoman Guillon, who actually sponsoring this piece of legislation, asked that it not be on the agenda tonight. I'm asking that it come off the agenda prior to us voting on it.
Yes. That one and R-14-2024 resolution to approve appointment of a code enforcement manager for the city of Glenarden. Any other discussion?
Say that one again.
R-14-2024 resolution to approve the appointment of a code enforcement manager for the city of Glenarden. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, voice vote to move forward with the amended agenda.
Councilman Hairston.
Yes.
Councilman Herring.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones.
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson.
Yes.
And Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries.
All right. First on the agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes for the September 12th public hearing and the September 18th regular session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, the minutes for September 12th public hearing and the September 18th regular session are hereby adopted. Moving on to legislation. First on up is Ordinance 01-2024, Emergency Ordinance Budget Reallocation. Madam Clerk, if you don't have to read the numbers, just the resolution. I meant the ordinance. Body of it.
Budget amendment number 1, an emergency ordinance to amend the FY24 city budget for the purpose of appropriating and reallocating funds in the budget. Whereas the city of Glenarden is a municipal corporation of the state of Maryland and operating under section 11-E of the Constitution of Maryland, subsection 5-202 of the Annotated Code of Maryland as amended, and whereas the Charter, Article 6, General Powers of the Council, Section 02-5, Appropriations, states that the City Council has the authority to appropriate municipal monies for any purpose within the powers of the Council, and whereas the City Council desires to add funding for special events, add funding for legal work for legislative purposes related to the city charter review, change the names/designation of funding of American for the American Rescue Plan programs, add funding for senior programming for renovation of the nutrition and add funding for senior programming and for renovation of nutrition center for senior programming. Whereas under the City of Glenarden Charter, Article 3, Section 308E states an emergency ordinance shall become effective on the date specified in the ordinance, but no ordinance shall become effective until approved by the mayor or passed over his or her veto by the city council. And whereas the city council has the ultimate fiduciary responsibility to steward municipal monies and deem the following additional appropriations for FY24 city budget to be necessary to allow expenditure of the city funds as follows. Section 1, additional FY24 budget appropriation. Revenue. A, appropriate $206,503 from revenues for additional funding for FY24 budget to cover additional expenditure items to be referenced in the revenue section of FY24 budget to the budget line items 10-10-10, 5920, 20-35-10, 5920, and 30-80-10, 5920. Expenditures. Appropriate $10,000 to legislative budget special events account number 10.30.10.8647 for Thanksgiving luncheon to be sponsored by the City Council and held in November 2023. Appropriate $6,000 to legislative budget legal services account 10-30-10-8211 to cover legal expenses associated with the city charter review that is underway by the council committee working with legal counsel. C, appropriate $100,000 to account 20-35-10-7530 for renovation of the nutrition center in City Hall to prepare for senior programming. D, create a fund to reinstitute/continue nutrition center programs, account number 20-35-10-5920, to provide $50,000 for senior programming in the nutrition center as designated space for senior activities in City Hall. C, appropriate $40,503 for legal obligation and expenses. American Rescue Plan programs. A, change the designation of the $200,000 for stormwater runoff rebates to residents so labeled in the appropriate FY24 American Rescue Plan budget and relabel it as funding allocated for the Intergenerational Poverty Fund. B, Resolution R 24-2020 adopted May 9, 2020, allocate $50,000 from street paving in the ARPA funds from $493,679 to $443,679 to pay for costs of assessment of street and sidewalk repairs needed in Ward 3 that have not been paved and streets and sidewalks in Wards 1 and 2 that have pothole damage and assess the need for additional sidewalks in all wards. C, Resolution R-23-2022, adopted May 9, 2022, changed the FY24 ARPA funding designation from stormwater runoff to stormwater remediation assessment to be paid from $100,000 appropriated in FY24 ARPA funds to specifically designated for engineering services to provide a cost assessment for stormwater remediation for the entire city with homes on Delwood Ave, Fisk Ave, and between Tyler Street and Glenarden Parkway as a priority for focus for engineering services. D, per Resolution R-22-2022, adopted May 9th, 2022, provide $25,000 in ARPA funds to cover the cost of pilot speed hump program by reducing the funding for the ARPA category of city sidewalk, curb, and gutters construction from $292,350 to $267,350. E, stormwater management grant previously established in FY23 is reappropriated for FY24 with an ARPA program budget of $50,000. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session on the 16th day of October, 2023, that this emergency ordinance is hereby declared approved. Be it further resolved and ordained by the City Council of Glenarden that this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon approval by the mayor or passage by the council over the mayor's veto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor as an emergency ordinance?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, a vote to bring this forward as an emergency ordinance, please.
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
and Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to bring this emergency ordinance to the floor for a vote?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Herring?
Yes, on lines 41 through 44 on page 1, where it appropriates $206,503, and they're given 3 line items on the budget that the money goes to. They need to put the amount for each department that the amount for each one. We got 3 account numbers. How much money is going to each account number that makes up that $206,000?
Ms. Habita?
If I understand your comment, you wanted it broken down by the account numbers.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that in the if you want it amended to do that, we'll do that.
Okay.
Any other discussion? I have one. I thought we discussed last time that we will make the renovation all-inclusive and that we would then go forward with the whatever proposal we receive. Did we not discuss that? Or was I dreaming?
No, we did. I thought it was going to go to Redken. I'm sorry. Yeah, Redken.
Mr. Curtis,
Yes.
that the funds are already in the budget for $300,000 for the council chambers renovation. So there's money in that. This is an additional $100,000.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does help.
Okay.
All right. So it's a total of $400,000 for the entire space,
Indeed.
plus an additional $50,000 for the program. The senior
Program itself,
program.
yes.
So, any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Sorry.
be mindful that you are amending this for an update on this document that you'll have right here. So you are amending this document as
Yes.
stated by each council person.
So we're going to vote on the amended document. Okay. No other motion is needed, correct? We're just voting on the amended. All right.
There are no objections.
Okay, Madam Clerk, could you just do a voice vote on the amended emergency ordinance, please?
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
and Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you to our parliamentarian. Thank you. Next up is ordinance 02-2024, an ordinance to amend chapter 22, city property, article 1, 22-1, guidelines, global positioning system.
Sorry. An ordinance to amend Chapter 22, City Property, Articles 1, subsection 22-1. Whereas the City of Glenarden is a municipal corporation of the State of Maryland and operating under Article 11-E of the Constitution of Maryland and subsection 5-202 of the annotated Code of Maryland as amended, and whereas Chapter 22, Article 1, subsection 22-1 provides for the guidelines of use of city vehicles and property. And whereas the city has the responsibility to ensure that there is accountability, cost controls, and improved employee safety when city vehicles are in use. And whereas in order to achieve these goals, a global positioning system, GPS, should be instituted. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council sitting in regular session the 20th of November, 2023, that, number 1, Chapter 22, City Property, Article 1, Section 22-1B, and hereby is amended as follows. Sections A through L, there are no changes. Section M, all city vehicles shall be equipped with global positioning system units. N, no employee shall disconnect or attempt to disable the GPS unit. To do so will lead to disciplinary action to include termination. And number 2, the city manager, police chief, and director of public works will have access to the GPS system. Be it further resolved and ordained by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, that this ordinance is and shall become effective 20 days following the approval by the mayor or passage of the City Council over the mayor's veto. This is the first reading for this ordinance.
Sorry. There was. Did we include the cost in this?
No.
There's no cost in that. That's just saying that they're required to have it.
Oh, okay.
That'll come later.
All right, thanks. All right, that was the first reading, and then the vote will come next month.
Yes.
All right. Next up is Resolution 6-2024, resolution accepting cost proposal from Charles P. Johnson Jr. and Associate Engineers for analysis of all city streets contract. Do you need a break?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Thank
go.
you.
Resolution R-6-2024, sponsors Derek Curtis, Council President, co-sponsor at the request of administration. Public hearing was held on September 12th, 2023, and October the 10th, 2023. And the date of introduction was September the 5th, 2023. Whereas the City Council approved a contract with Charles P. Johnson Jr. and Associate Engineers, CPJA, in June 2023, and whereas the adopted FY24 budget includes funding for engineering services, and whereas CPJA has provided 2 cost proposals for an analysis of city streets and analysis of city sidewalks for the purpose of collecting data on street and sidewalk conditions for the development of a plan to guide the scheduling of street and sidewalk work over a period of years and for the purpose of annual budget appropriation planning for such work. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023 as follows. The City Council authorizes the expenditure of $19,875 for analysis of all city streets and $8,060 for analysis of city sidewalks to be completed by CPJA, including a review of areas where new sidewalks may be needed to address the safety of school children, adults, and senior citizens. 2, that these costs shall be funded from ARPA funds and charged to the capital budget line item 30.80.10.7614 for engineering services. 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote?
So move.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. Next up is Resolution 9, 2024, a resolution to provide a property tax rebate to Glenarden homeowners. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 09-2024. The sponsor is James Herring, Councilman, and Maurice Hairston, Councilman. The public hearing was held on October 10th, and the date of introduction was October 2nd. A resolution to provide a property tax rebate to Glenarden homeowners. Whereas the city of Glenarden has experienced exceptional growth over the last 20 years, and whereas the city has benefited greatly from the ARPA funds, which allow the city to not have to use tax dollars for capital improvements, and whereas the true legacy organization in the city of Glenarden is its citizens, who for over 80 years have volunteered, supported, and sacrificed for the city of Glenarden, and whereas the largest source of income for the city of Glenarden is homeowner property taxes, whereas there is approximately 2,200 residential homeowners. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023 as follows. 1, that the City of Glenarden will issue a $500 tax rebate check to its residential homeowners. And 2, these payments shall be issued no later than February 29th, 2024.
Thank you. So I want to make a motion to table this resolution. In all fairness, I don't think we have a full number of council members, and I would hate for this to fail with us being short-handed. So I would like to motion to table this, to give this resolution a fair vote. Is there a second? Any discussion? I'm second by Vice President Ferguson. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Harry?
I'm not sure why. I mean, we need to table it. I mean, people going to either vote it up or vote it down.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, if they don't want to give the citizens a rebate, that's well within their right. And, you know, we can always bring it back later if they choose to vote it down,
Okay.
you know.
All right. Any other discussion? So the motion is still on the floor, so we'll go through with that motion. Madam Clerk, could you just do the roll call for the motion? To table it.
Councilman Hairston,
No.
Councilman Herring,
No.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Jones,
No.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
and Council President
Yes. Fails.
Bales.
All right. Well, is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote?
So move.
You already voted. You already introduced that it's being brought to the floor. The motion failed, so now, at this time, you move forward.
With the vote?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
All right, Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
No.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Before I cast my vote, I would like to say that while I think that the taxpayer should be awarded $500 or even more to rebate, right now we're currently searching for large funds of money to get a police department. Our senator is all over the county trying to get money for this project. She specifically said to give our best so that we can get the money. So I would have preferred for it to be tabled until we can just see what we got in terms of the money monies or the funds for the police department. So for me, I just feel like we are asking for monies, but we are not, but we're giving money. So I would have to abstain.
Abstain.
Mr. President, before the vote count is announced, I will change my vote to no so that I can bring it back again.
So the vote fails.
I'm sorry, I wanted to change my vote also.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Jones?
Okay. Because as Vice President Ferguson says, we're looking for money all over the state for big projects that we have planned to do. I don't believe that taxpayers should not get a rebate, but I don't believe that this is the time, so I shall abstain.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if you had announced it, the motion would have passed. When you abstain, it's just not, it's like not voting at all. But Mr. Harris pulled his vote before you announced it, so that made it different. There is no debate when you are taking count. You have to debate before the count takes place. Okay. But the motion had passed, I counted it. But because he pulled his abstain, 2 of you abstain, 3 of you abstain, you can do that, yes. So right now, you abstain from voting at this particular time, and you pull the recommendation until later date, so you can't do that, because you did not announce it, so you can't do that,
Okay.
yes.
So you can still bring it
This.
Well, the problem is that our charter requires 4 yeses. That's the problem. So you have to have 4 yeses. Even if they abstain, it's still not a yes. And that's where the problem coming in.
Okay.
So I said, I went ahead and voted no, so I'll bring it back next month.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a lay on the table until the next.
Until next month. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Resolution 10-2024, a resolution for Red Leaf Architects City Elevator Installation.
Resolution 10-24, sponsored by Councilman Herring. Co-sponsors are Councilwoman Ferguson and Councilman Hairston. Public hearing was held on October 10th, and the date of introduction was October 2nd. A resolution authorizing an agreement with Red Leaf Group Architects for architectural services for the Glenarden Municipal Building Elevator Project. Whereas the administration seeks the council's approval for proposal and contract received from Red Leaf Group Architects for professional services offered to complete the process for installation of an elevator in the municipal building, and whereas Red Leaf Group was previously engaged by the city for this project around 2012 and prepared the original construction drawings that will need to be reviewed for compliance with current building codes. Whereas Red Leaf Group is prepared to re-engage on this project to assist with installation of an elevator and construction of an elevator lobby as the building entrance improvements at the municipal building. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden sitting in regular session the 16th day of October, 2023 as follows. 1, that the proposed dated September 29, 2023, received from Red Leaf Architects is accepted by the mayor or council are authorized to sign an agreement with Red Leaf Group for installation of an elevator in the municipal building with accompanying building entrance improvements at a cost of $18,950 for architectural services plus $4,500 for reimbursable and on-site visit costs for meetings with the city representatives for a total contract of $23,450, not including permit fees or construction management services. 2, payment for professional services for the elevator project shall be made from line item 76-32, -30-80-10, elevator project in the capital budget within fiscal year budget 24, and this resolution shall take effect upon immediate passage.
Okay. Is there a motion to bring this resolution to the floor for a vote?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Herring. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Jones. Any discussion or opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. Next up is Resolution R11, 2024, a resolution authorizing a contract with the State Highway Administration for salt utilization. This sponsor is Derek Curtis II, Council President, co-sponsor at the request of the administration. The public hearing was held on October the 10th. It was introduced on October the 2nd, 2023. Whereas with winter weather ahead and the previous salt agreement with the State Highway Administration, SHA, coming to an end, the administration recommends that the city enter into a contract with SHA to allow for salt pickup. Whereas the contract with SHA would last for the next 3 years, ending in 2026, with a contract total not exceeding $34,200 or $85.25 per every ton of salt picked up. Whereas this agreement would allow city employees as well as authorized contractors to pick up salt from SHA on behalf of the city. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023, as follows. 1. The State Highway Administration will provide salt to be used by the City of Glenarden for ice control purposes. 2. The cost for entering in this agreement will cost $85.23 for each salt pickup, and the total price of the contract will not exceed $34,200. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Is there a motion to bring this resolution to the floor for a vote?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Herring. Any discussion or opposition? Councilman Herring?
Mr. President, so in this contract, is it stating that is only city employees allowed to pick up this salt, or is the vendor also allowed to pick up this salt? And if the vendor is allowed to pick up salt, who's monitoring the vendor picking up salt?
Mr. Simpson, and could you please turn on the mic?
Good evening. From my understanding, the vendor will be allowed to pick up salt and they're authorized by us. We would have to give a specific code for them to be able to do so, so it's billed to our account. If I remember correctly, when I've gone to State Highway, and I can confirm this, Mr. Herring, there's a specific clerk there to be able to take that, and then they would let us, you would be able to document exactly how many tons or whatever was picked up, so we can monitor it.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure it's monitored.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, thanks.
Any other discussion or opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, Resolution R-11-2024 is adopted. Next up is Resolution 12-2024, resolution authorizing catering services for the 2023 annual city holiday party. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 12, 2024, the sponsors are Council Vice President Ferguson and Councilwoman Guillaume. The public hearing was held on October 10th and it was introduced on October 2nd. A resolution authorizing catering services for the 2023 annual city holiday party. Whereas the City Council is promoting special events for the community, and whereas the City Council would like to have the 2023 annual city holiday party for the citizens of the community on December 15th, 2023, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And whereas the City Council would like to have the 2020 city holiday party catered, and whereas the funds will be allocated for the fiscal year in the fiscal year 2024 budget under special events budget line item that includes holiday party and other community events. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden sitting in regular session on the 16th day of October as follows, that 1, Cole's Creative Catering will provide catering services for the City of Glenarden's party per attached invoice identifying services. 2, the cost of the catering services is not to exceed $7,000 and shall be paid from budget line item 10-30-10-8647, Legislative Office Special Events. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you. Is there a motion to bring this resolution to the floor for a vote?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. Next is Resolution R13-2024. A resolution to appoint Chelsea Okora to the Glenarden Youth Advisory. The public hearing was held on October the 10th, 2023, and the date of introduction was on October the 2nd, 2023. Whereas the City Council established the Glenarden Youth Advisory Committee by Resolution R-22-2010 on November 9th, 2009, which is composed of 5 members appointed and approved by the City Council. And whereas the Youth Advisory Committee is a public body and must comply with the Maryland Open Meetings Act, and whereas the committee was established to develop and recommend a plan for the city to bring programs and services to the city youth, and whereas the City Council wishes to approve the appointment of Chelsea Okora to the Youth Advisory Committee, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023 as follows. Number 1, the term of office shall be 2 years, October 16, 2023 through October the 20th, 2025. 2, Chelsea Okora is hereby approved as an appointee to the Youth Advisory Committee. 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately following approval by the City Council, and a favorable background check is administered by the City of Glenarden. And 4, this resolution shall take immediately upon adoption. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote?
So moved.
Moved by Vice President Ferguson. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Councilwoman Jones. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
I spoke to Ms. Okora on Friday. She came and met with me and Councilman Harrison, and she has not had a background check done yet. So I don't understand why this is being brought to the floor when the background check hasn't been completed, especially since this is for the Youth Advisory Committee and they're dealing with youth. I think we need to wait to see, get the results of the background check before we move forward with a vote on it, because it says the approval by the City Council and a favorable background check. And I don't think we should vote on this until we're sure the background check is favorable before we move forward, because I hate to vote on it and then it comes back unfavorable. I'm not saying that it is, but that's not the way we really should be doing this. We should be doing the background check, making sure everything's all clear, and then saying, okay, let's vote on it.
So are you making another motion to table it?
I can make a motion to table it until the background check comes through. She hasn't had it done yet.
All right, is there a second?
If I'm not mistaken, I thought this is the way we have done it previously.
I had to get a background check when I was on the youth advisory committee.
You mean prior to you being voted, or?
I think it was before I got voted on.
And we did the same thing to the last gentleman too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, it's fair. We don't have enough members on it to be an active committee right now anyway, so it's not going to hold up anything.
yeah. So is there a second?
So I second it.
Okay. Madam Clerk? I'm sorry.
So,
Any discussion? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead. Vice President
thank you,
Ferguson.
President. So are we agreeing that, so we're gonna hold on this, but meanwhile, are we going to go ahead on and start her background?
Yeah, I thought it had already started. So I'm not sure who's going to be doing it, but she said no one has reached out to her yet for the background check.
Yeah, because I mean, from previous, I remember, last administration that I was on, I think this was kind of copied, and we did it like this. I don't have a problem. I understand what you're saying, but at least I just wanted for the record that she's going to be contacted, so that they can go ahead and pursue the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Habito, do you know who will be? I know the things have changed, so
The fingerprinting will continue to be done in the from the police department. I mean, I'm assuming when you say background check that's
yes.
yes, that's what's needed.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, could you set that up since you have the contact information, could you connect with her and connect with the chief so that she can get her background check completed, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I caution you on moving forward with an employee before the investigation on the background has been completed, and this is the way the world is working right now. If something happens, you allow it. So I caution you on moving forward until all things are.
Thank you. And now we're going to move ahead with the motion to table. Madam Clerk?
I just have a question in regards to.
Well, so, great question. Unfortunately, it's out of order. But I can connect with you, or if in your 5 minutes you want to ask a question, that's fine. All right, Madam Clerk?
So we're voting to table.
Table, yes.
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Yes.
Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries.
Okay. Next up is Resolution 15-2024, resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-550 dump truck to include a 9-inch Boss snowplow and underbody tailgate spreader from Apple Ford. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 15-2024, the sponsor is Council President Curtis. The public hearing was on October 10th, and it was introduced on October 2nd. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-550 dump truck to include a 9-foot Boss snowplow and underbody tailgate spreader from Apple Ford. Whereas the administration seeks the council's approval to authorize the purchase of a public works vehicle within the current budget under line item 83, 64-30-80-10, and whereas the city council has previously approved the allotted funds in the fiscal year 24 budget to purchase a dump truck and a snowplow and a spreader, and the public works director has identified a 2023 Ford F-550 dump truck to include a 9-foot Boss snowplow and underbody tailgate spreader. And whereas it is necessary to purchase the 2023 Ford F-550 dump truck to include the 9-foot Boss snowplow and underbody tailgate spreader. And whereas Howard County has a contract with Apple Ford to provide vehicles to the county, contract number for 40,000,4544, and the contract allows for other jurisdictions to buy from Apple Ford through this county contract, and it is proposed that the city of Glenarden buy the dump truck and snowplow and spreader from Apple Ford, the VIN number 1FD0D05HXPED53575, at the price of $98,549, as attached in Exhibit A. And whereas, in accordance with the city charter, Section 818C, the administration has found that the Howard County contract has conducted a competitive bid and a procurement process similar to that of the city of Glenarden, and therefore recommends a purchase from Apple Ford for the dump truck, snowplow, and spreader. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October, 2023, as follows. 1. The purchase of a 2023 Ford F-50 dump truck to include a 9-inch Boss snowplow and underbody tailgate spreader from Apple Ford at the price of $98,549 per the quote attached in Exhibit A to this resolution to be hereby approved. 2. Payment for the vehicle shall be made from line item 8364-30-80-10, support equipment vehicles in the capital budget within the fiscal year 24 budget. And 3. This resolution shall take effect upon immediate passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote? Moved by Councilmember Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harry. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry.
Yes, what color is this truck?
You better not say ugly either.
It's a white truck,
Okay.
Oxford white.
If it's blue, it's gonna be a no.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. All right. Moving on, next up is Resolution 16, that's 2024, a resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 zero-turn riding lawn mowers from Deere and Company. The sponsor is Derek Curtis II, Council President. Co-sponsor at the request of administration. Public hearing was held on October the 10th, 2023. And the date of introduction was October the 2nd, 2023. Whereas the administration seeks the council's approval to authorize the purchase of the Public Works lawn mowers within the current budget under line item 8360.30.80.10, and whereas the City Council has previously approved the allotted funds in the FY24 budget to purchase 2 zero-turn riding lawn mowers, and whereas the city's Public Works Department requires the replacement of 2 Toro zero-turn lawnmowers, which has passed its generally anticipated useful life, ceased operating, which would have been an inefficient and unwise expenditure to repair given the age of the equipment, and whereas it is necessary to purchase a John Deere Z960M Z-Track 60-inch and a John Deere Z960M 72-inch zero-turn riding lawnmowers from Deere & Company at the combined price of $25,839.66 as attached in Exhibit A. And whereas in accordance with Charter Section 818C, the administration has found that Sourcewell Grounds Maintenance Contract has conducted a similar competitive bid and procurement process to that of the City of Glenarden to authorize a purchase from Deere and Company for the purchase of lawnmowers, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023 as follows. 1. That the purchase of a John Deere Z960M Z-Track 60-inch and a John Deere Z960M 72-inch zero-turn riding lawnmowers from Deere and Company at a combined price of $25,839.66 per the quote attached in Exhibit A to this resolution be and is hereby approved. And 2, payment for the lawnmower shall be made from line item 8360.30.80.10 support equipment under the capital project function within the fiscal budget. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote? Moved by Councilwoman Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hairston. Any discussion? Councilmember Harry.
Yes, Mr. President. Is this commercial? This is a commercial mower, because it seems like every time we get a mower, it goes from we thinking it's commercial and then it ends up being not. So is this is a commercial mower, both of them.
Mr. Simpson, please speak into the mic.
Yes, these are 2 commercial zero-turn lawnmowers.
Okay. How many mowers does that give you now? Give the department now?
That will give us 4 working lawnmowers if this resolution is passed.
And do you have some down there that's inoperable now?
Yes, they are. The plan is to have them surplused in the November meetings.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilmember Herring. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. Next is Resolution 17-2024, a resolution to declare surplus of cable equipment, a public works truck, a police vehicle, and items from the Nutrition Center. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 17-2024. The sponsor is Council President Curtis. On behalf of the administration, the public hearing was October 10th, and it was introduced on October 2nd. A resolution to declare surplus of cable equipment, a public works truck, a police vehicle, and items from the Nutrition Center. Whereas the city property has exceeded its useful life, and whereas pursuant to Section 828 of the city charter, the mayor, with the consent of the council, may declare usable, obsolete, or outmoded personal property or equipment belonging to the city as surplus property. Whereas these items can be declared as surplus property and sold to the general public or disposed of if there is no interest in any surplus items. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenarden, sitting in regular session the 16th day of October 2023, has determined that 1. The administration has declared the attached list of items as surplus property, which can be sold to the general public to the highest bidder or offerer. 2. The notice of sale of surplus property shall be made through periodic surplus list placed in the municipal center and by circulation throughout the city with the monthly city meeting notice. 3. The sale notice shall identify the means of acquisition to be by sealed bid, informal offer, or a specified auction date. 4. All revenues collected from the sale of the surplus property shall be dispositioned with the treasurer. 5. All surplus items which are to be sold as is, no guarantee or warranty of any kind to be provided. 6. All surplus items for which bids or no offer are received may be given away free or disposed of with city trash disposal. And 7. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor for a vote?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Herring. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Jones. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. Just one
Councilmember
question.
Herring.
How long will it take to get the stuff out of the building? Because we pass these and this stuff sits there.
Ms. Habita?
I think there is an urgency on the part of some staff with some of this stuff from the cable and computer and that kind of thing is sitting in their space. So there is an urgency about that for sure to get that out of there. In terms of the trucks, that may take a little more doing in terms of trying to figure out the options for finding folks who will buy it for surplus. We probably would have to figure that out. But the other items and, nutrition center and that kind of thing, I think will go quickly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, by unanimous consent, this resolution is hereby adopted. Next up are administrative reports. Mayor Cross on the line. For the mayor's report. Okay, maybe she's occupied. We'll move on to the.
Were there questions for the administration reports or the mayor reports, sir?
Did you have a report to give?
Yeah, you looking for a bathroom or anything?
I'm sorry. So for the mayoral report, I'd just like to acknowledge the amount of work that has gone forth thus far towards building a better community coexistence with not just the body as well as the people. And we have moved significantly with crafting and creating reports at the higher levels of government legislatively to address our concerns that are out there for our children who are at risk, particularly with the amount of programming that's been out there for our teens, but we're not sure that that program is helping. As we look at the amount of struggle that we've seen with the funding, I would say I had an opportunity to go and witness the little Glenarden Bulldogs and their cheerleaders and their football players. And my heart goes out for the parents who honestly are almost paying for this out of their pockets. And I do ask that, I know that there was $3,500 or so given out of the American Rescue Plan money, but I would really hope that we would consider that the people that support us in such an amazing way are seriously taking care to keep our children not only safe, but to keep them and their hands occupied and to the plow when it comes down to value-added work. And I'm so pleased with Coach Berry and Coach Mike and the people that have really taken it out of hide to build such a progressive program. I also want to draw attention to the amount of support that we're getting for our senior programs, as well as the ACP program when we're looking at the continuation of broadband and creating a mission forward thinking for technology in the city of Glenarden. Had the unique pleasure of going and supporting Glenarden Housing Authority residents to provide them that qualified for the program 10-inch notebooks for the internet as well. If they didn't qualify for that, then at least a phone, which allowed them the opportunity to have access to broadband and the internet, which we want to continue to do more of that. So we did put out a calling message through the entire city of Glenarden. If you are in need of an internet connection with the ACP program, we are here to support. And we also crafted and created a program for our young folks as I need to get their voices in helping me address the violence that is taking root in our young people. So we are giving out an opportunity. The mayor is going to take our young folks, 6 of them, 3 from high school, 3 from middle school, to sporting events throughout this year. And then we have our golden seniors. We have our 60-plus Glenardeners in age. We have the Glenarden Grand Travelers. And we are making good on our promise to get our seniors up and running and moving and out in the community. And so David is our next story that we'll go see, Sight and Sound. These are, limited tickets. So we do want to make sure that our seniors that are interested in meeting the travel club to actually submit their names early. And we also have partnered with the Maryland Park and Resources, as well as the secretary, for actually taking our teams out to the various beautiful sites across the state of Maryland. So we're going to take Maryland by storm, and I'm so excited about that. So we did a Good Day Friday, and we've been doing that with the Glenarden Housing Authority, and just trying to put some sunlight where there has been so much hurt, particularly in our community. And we did a Good Day Smile Day, and we are able to continue to build that need. So if there are areas in our community, the mayor is asking that just make it known if we need a little extra care in an area. We do not quit. We give until, we make a difference. And so it is so important for our golden seniors. They know that we're out there for them. The Glenarden Post 275 had a general body meeting, and there's been a lot of movement by way of the Post in trying to build a stronger Post and a stronger presence for our community. And as you recall, we did lose our emergency management, Mr. Greenhouse, and so we are looking for another person to help us in that regard, so that we'll be planning our continuity planning, and we're actually preparing the emergency response as well. So a lot of movement by way of that. And as we look further into Prince George's and the different topics, we are working towards the recidivism program with the state's attorney. And we actually did have an opportunity to speak on behalf of the first young man that was actually released from jail relative to the state's attorney's new trajectory, which is taking our youth that unfortunately come in as adolescents with life sentences and reforming that outlook relative to them with good behavior and time off. And so we actually was able to support the first young man that met that program. He has been quite successful in changing the dynamics of how we view our returning citizens and the work that they are able to put on the ground. And this young man has blown it right out of the park. So we're so happy to join with the state's attorney, Brave Boy, and her team as we continue to build the recidivism pipeline to community civility and to build a brighter tomorrow by an inclusive community filled with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So with that, it is my pleasure again to join with the African diaspora, the Friends of the African Diaspora, in development discussions and support discussions for community members who may be having trouble with houses and getting their landscape and those types of things. So we're pushing hard to try and help along with the city and the work that we're doing there. But there are also several nonprofits that are out there making a difference, and we are able to lean into some of that. Just make your requests known. See crosses, cityofglenarden.org, and we'll see what we can do. One of the key things, I'm here at Maryland Municipal League, and it came up in the small cities discussion, and I'll just highlight that real quick relative to permitting and zoning. And I will tell you that there is a large growing number of small cities who desire to have their own zoning and permitting within their cities. And so I know that that is going up before the legislative body to even consider for the next year. And that would be good, because with the amount of development, and I know the council took on the Alta Woodmore development, but that would be good if the city itself would have the zoning and the permitting permissions that the county, has leverage of right now. So with that, we are grateful again for all the opportunities that we get to serve the people of the city of Glenarden, and pending your questions.
Thank you, Mayor Cross. Are there any questions from the council on her report?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
Hello, Mayor. You just mentioned Alta Woodmore, and citizens have been asking me. Again, the council did take on that endeavor, and I would just like to ask, what is your position on that project? Because no one has heard your position on those apartments being built over there. So I'm just curious on what is your position on that?
Thank you, Councilman Herring, for the question. And I will say, taken aback when the council was having, discussions and meetings. I didn't actually get any of the invitations, but I will tell you that my position on all development on the borders and inside of the city of Glenarden, because it did not consider the people on the ground, my position has always been a heart for the people that are currently here. I really do have a big concern about the amount of development that's on our borders, and Alta Woodmore being within our borders, and there's no infrastructure to support it. I am tragically concerned about St. Joseph's Church there, the parish, because ultimately there is a concern of the traffic, and I voiced that concern February 2021 when we were actually discussing Woodmore Overlook, and I met with the board for the county, the development board, and I asked that exact questions, like, what are you going to do for the people on the ground? The concern that I have is the development started in 2002. I know I got to Woodmore in 2016. 2015, that whole development called Woodmore Town Center at Glenarden started to take form. So if you are 13 years in the making, you need to come back and re-evaluate how the community that is now moving in feels about the development. What I'm concerned about is if they only had 524 residents across Prince George's County speak on the topic of development, you only met with 524. Glenarden is 6,300 strong. There's a 20% of the voting population requirement to even do a petition to referendum. But I can pass change orders as a county. That's why the zoning and the permitting is important to put back in the hands of the cities, because I can do that as a county, but then as the citizens of Glenarden who are now impacted, we don't have a voice. And when I met with the planning board that February 2021, and they told me, well, and I wasn't mayor, I was just an average citizen. They said, well, if you want to talk about the site design, you are welcome. And I said, well, if you want me to just say how pretty it is, I think it's going to be gorgeous. But that is as much of a voice as I had. And I tell you, I tragically felt disappointed by that, because there was not, in my opinion, because I got there in 2016, 2021, we're already developing. There wasn't meetings upon meetings upon meetings. I think there should be a requirement that a certain percentage of the impact zone has to even acknowledge. And I didn't say accept, approve. I said acknowledge. Yes, no, maybe. That way, before you develop, you can say, we made sure that the people that were going to be impacted, that it mattered to, had a voice. My concern in the city of Glenarden and the development that's happening across the county is the people on the ground maintain their voice, maintain their voters' voice, maintain their voice, period. And that's my position, is I will always fight for the voice of the people.
Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I mean, that sounds really good, but I guess my issue was, because one thing that the developer's lawyer kept on insisting and saying is that he sent you information on the development and he heard nothing from anybody. And that's why I was wondering what was your position is on it, because that's one thing he brought up, and publicly he stated that over and over and over again. When I sat down with Senator Benson and Delegate Lewis and some of the HOAs, he stated that over. I sent this information to the mayor back in something like April or something like that, you know, and that we didn't hear from her, you know. And that's why it's imperative that we work as a unit when it comes down to development, because again, what they tend to do is they try to separate the bodies, and when you put that out there, it's basically saying he didn't hear from you, so he felt silence his consent. So I just wanted to know what your position was, because I know citizens have been asking me. We haven't heard from the mayor. What is her position on this Alta Woodmore project? So thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any other questions for the mayor and council? I just have one point of clarification. I don't recall any meetings that the council members had regarding this. There actually was no meeting. The only meetings that were held were public meetings on a county level, which some council members went to the first one, and then there were council representatives at the actual hearing, council and administrative staff at the hearing, but there weren't any other council meetings for this. So just wanted to clarify that. All right, moving on to the city manager's report. City manager, any high level things you want to discuss?
Just a couple of things at the end of the report. A request for the council. We've got a number of capital budget items that are listed in the budget, and it'd be helpful to know council's priority in terms of which ones should take precedent over others, or if you simply want to go as they appear on council's agenda in the next month, or some direction on that would be helpful. Setting priorities, basically. Reminder that the tour of the police space is coming up next week on Tuesday, October 24th from 6:30 to 7:30. And Senator Guy Gazzoni, chair of the Senate Budget Taxation Committee, and Senator Joanne Banson will be here for that.
Okay.
Any questions of my report?
Any questions for the city manager? I think we're just moving, Councilman Herring. Hearing none. Public Works report.
Good evening. Just want to point out a couple things. We are coming close to grass cutting season. Is starting to end. When temperatures reach consistently below 50 degrees, then grass cutting pretty much cease at that particular point. We still do have a vacancy. I believe we'll be reposting that position here real soon for another hire. So we're still short in Public Works, and that's noted on the report. NZI should be starting something that isn't on this particular report. Will be NZI will start their paving side of the 91,000 that you guys approved before. The company, I believe, was running through an illness. I know Nelson, who heads it up, he was out, but they're going to start with the asphalt depth repaving or deep depth repaving. And that's it. Other things are in the report, and I'm here for questions.
Any questions for
Yes, Mr.
Councilman
President.
Herring?
Yes. I just want to thank you for the cages on the memorial. It looks good.
Okay.
I think that'll solve the problem that we're having with people destroying those lights. So appreciate it. I know we've been trying to get that done for years, so appreciate it. All right, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you for your service, Mr. Simpson. Next up is the Chief of Police report, Chief Bryant. And please speak into the mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just a couple of things real quick. On Friday, we had one of the juvenile events, one of the juveniles that was involved in the accident. The mayor and the city manager did an outstanding job of supporting and attending the event with myself and the police officers. Spoke with the mother over the weekend. She was very happy with the event and the police presence after the event that took place on Fulton Avenue from 3 to 8. So that went very well, and a lot of community support in reference to that. Spoke with the second juvenile mother today. She was planning on having an event here on a Sunday, but after talking to the Gold Room coordinator and talking to us and our staffing and so forth, she looking at her options, and I'll be getting with her tomorrow in reference to she want to do an outside venue, so we're probably looking at a basketball court. We're going to try Teresa Banks Community Center for a date for her. She want to do something outside and a cookout, so I'll keep the community updated and posted on that event with the date and time once we confirm everything. Also, we've been awarded 2 grants, the PAC grant for education and accountability. That was $30,000, and we had a second one that was just granted today. That's called the Burns Justice Assistant Grant. That's for $41,000, which would go towards our computers for the vehicles and stuff. I think that total bill was like $127,000. So that $41,000 will go towards that to assist us with getting the vehicles and updated and inside the police vehicles with the stands and so forth. As the city manager stated, Senator Gazone and Senator Benson will be here next Tuesday for the walkthrough in reference to obtaining a new police facility. So we're inviting everyone out to that, and hopefully you can make it, and hopefully we can get some changes in that. And last, we're having our trunk or treat on Saturday, October 28th from 1 to 4. We're going to be at the Teresa Banks Community Center with the police vehicles and with the kids from the community from 1 to 4. So we have it posted, but we'll be also putting out extra flyers this week to the community just to ensure that we get a lot of our kids involved in that event. So that's all I have for the police department, if you don't have any questions for me.
Thank you, Chief Bryant. Are there any questions for Chief Bryant? And just want to say thank you for showing up on Friday. I know you had, prior engagements, and, you sacrificed so that you can make sure that things went over smoothly. So appreciate your service as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, the treasurer's report.
Thank you, President Curtis. I want to give an updated report because the report that I think that was sent out earlier was for July. So the one that I'm going to present now is actually for August. Just an update on information, right? So first thing would be the cash update. Cash update is telling us that the operating account had $2.8 million to October 30th. The forbearance 7,000, the Gold Room had 190, a PEG grant had 340,000. As at October 3, the investment account had in total $8.5 million, where the rainy day fund had the $8 million. We are earned approximately $61,000 so far. We're looking at 2 months earning that amount of funds. There is the ARPA fund, which is dealing with the Good Samaritan. That was budgeted for $300,000. That was actually exhausted by April 4th. So that, I believe, was a good program because a lot of people come out and supported it. The special events through to, I have information through to October 3rd, and I am showing total events come up to 47,141. We're still within budget with majority of the projects. I wanted to talk a little quickly about grants management. Our grants manager, John Okara, has sent me some information, some report on the grants that he's working on. As you already know, the police recruitment and retention grant offered us a $86,000 that was able to help us retain some of the officers that we have, buy some equipment and so on. So that was a good pull in from him. As Chief was saying, the PAT grant actually came in. That was $30,000. We have a Edward Byrne Memorial Fund. We're looking at $75,000 there. And a few other grants that he's working on currently. We are trying our best to go out and find as much grants as possible to keep down the cost of or the burden on our residents. So right now, that's where we stand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for the treasurer, Councilman Harry?
Yes, Mr. President. A couple of things. So you're saying in our savings, we got $8 million sitting in our rainy day fund, as you call it?
Yes, so we have $8,061,000 currently.
And it's been in that fund for what, 3 months, 2 months?
It's there for 2 months.
And we've earned $60,000 in interest?
$61,000. So we're looking at approximately from August 10th through September 30th.
So it's like $30,000 a month?
Yes.
So are we on target? I think the projection that you had was 456,000, something like that?
Yes, I think we're going to exceed that because my earlier projection was based on less funds than that being in the account. So right now, I think we're going fine. Yes.
And so for the police station, we've set aside, we basically have $1 million that we budgeted for the police station, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing, ARPA funds. We've been spending ARPA, for last fiscal year and this fiscal year, correct?
Last fiscal year, we spent approximately $8,000, just
how much are we
bills.
projecting to spend this year?
We're projecting to spend for alcohol, what is it? I think it's 3 point something. How much is it? Because I don't have that. Yes.
Point of clarification, when you say this year, do you just mean the calendar year or do you mean the
I'm actually
year?
thinking the calendar year.
Oh, just the calendar year.
The calendar year.
Well, the $300,000 for Good Samaritan is already
That's
been
gone.
exhausted.
That's
Gone.
exhausted. So I'm just thinking from January to December.
So we're looking at 3.1 million.
We're expecting to spend by December 31st.
Not December through to the end of the fiscal year.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking that question is because at MML, we took a budgeting class today, and they're saying that for every $750,000 that you spend in federal money, you have to get a single audit. The federal government requires a single audit, a separate audit. And so you want to reach out to the auditors to get them, to let them know that that's going to need to be done. And they charge us for it, so they don't do it for free. So you need to reach out to them because if we're looking at we projected to spend $750,000 this year. Was it circular? Was it A-133?
Yes.
Requires a single audit, and that's for every for every $750,000 that we spend in federal money, grant money, we have to do an audit for that. So you may want to reach out to the auditors on that to make sure, because they do come after you if you don't. So,
yeah.
All right.
Okay. And one more thing, as Mr. Herring brought up the auditors, to start the audit, I can't remember if I need to get, go ahead from the council to have them start the audit engagement. No, I could go ahead and prove, okay.
Yeah, I think I think that was already done. Typically, auditors are on board for, I don't know, three years.
Okay, so for this auditor that we have now, we have an agreement for, I think, 2 years with an additional year if needs be. So
yeah, I think we're good.
So I could go ahead and do
the past season. Past season was the first audit, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Treasurer Stewart? Thank you for your service, Mr. Stewart. Moving right along. Now we're to citizens' comments, where citizens have opportunity to speak on the reports given or anything that you would like to speak on. You have 5 minutes. When you come to the podium, please state your name and your 5 minutes will start. If you're online, please raise your virtual hand and I'll acknowledge you. If you do not know how to raise your virtual hand, you can open your mic and I'll acknowledge you that way. Are there any public comment?
Good evening, Alonda McDuffie. I try to remember everything. First thing was about the Youth Advisory Committee. Where's the information being displayed and how can a board be formed if the information is not out there?
Okay, well, do you want to ask all your questions and get through them, or you want answers?
I deleted it by mistake. Other one was about code enforcement. How many code enforcement officers do we currently have?
Okay. Oh, well, that's easy. It's only 2.
2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know if that explains several cars in the neighborhood without tags. You have people bringing their work vehicles / trailers and storing like old junk and like washing machines outside the home that's been sitting there for months. And it has not been tagged, ticket, or anything.
What street is that?
McLean.
Okay.
Yes, several. That's all I had.
All right. Well, to answer your first question, the Youth Advisory Committee was established, I believe, in 2009, 2010. And so there's not necessarily, any council member can correct me if I'm wrong, an advertisement for it. But it's by appointment. The mayor or council can appoint, and there are 5 members, and they, work together for our youth. Councilman Harrison, do you want to?
I was going to say she can contact the council clerk. I think you set up.
I think I did already.
Ms. Okor, yeah.
I did contact her already.
Because previously we had like a president that was in place, so they would point him to the president, and then she'll handle everything. But since it's like from scratch, and I think it's nobody there, then we probably gonna have to go through the council clerk and then set up the interviews and go from there, like we did with Chelsea.
Yeah.
So the whole mission of the committee is to assist with the youth?
Yeah, with the youth in the community. So basically what you do is you just come up with innovative ideas or things that you think that the youth needs, and you present it, and you have your meetings with the Youth Advisory Committee, and then you come present it to the council, and we assist in whatever way that we can to make that happen for you guys. But it's like you a committee that just basically houses in and focus on the betterment of the youth in the community, pretty much.
Okay, I'm interested. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President, I just wanted to know if Ms. Duffy, did you receive the information that I sent you from the charter and also from the code, where it kind of just had a description of what was involved with the advisory board? I sent it. I think I got a reply back from you. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But it really didn't explain as far as, like I said, Mr. Maurice, he explained as far as the mission and kind of what you do. So that's what I kind of thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure before I jump out there and say I want to be a part of this and don't fully understand what's committed to it. So that's it.
Thank you. Let me know how many members are there currently? This one?
This one.
Just the one that you bought.
Yeah. That was from ground zero. We started from ground zero.
Yes.
The question was, do you have to be a Glenarden resident to be a member? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Mr. President, also, I would like to ask the council clerk if you could find the resolution that established it, and sent that out. Okay. Let's just give it and send it to Ms. Okoro also, because she said she did not get it. Mrs. Okoro, the one we met with, yeah, she said she did not get it. All right.
Okay. Councilman Harrison, you good?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Good. All right. Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any other citizens' comments? Hearing none. Are there any other final comments from members of the council? Councilman Jones.
I'm sorry. Just as Ms. McDuffie brought up the property on McLean Avenue, I brought that up to code enforcement since last year. I've showed them, I pointed it out to them. I don't know why anything has not been done. I've sent pictures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Mr. President.
Councilman Harris.
Yes. A couple of things. Right now, we're actually trying to get programming for seniors, so we should be having some information come out soon. I hope that we're looking at some line dancing and maybe some hand dancing and chair aerobics and some other things that seniors can participate in. Hoping that we can get that established and get them up here to enjoy themselves a little bit, get out the house. Also on October 21st, we're having Shred Day. So if you have items, I got to stop? So on Shred Day, October 21st is Shred Day. So people come out and bring your stuff to shred. Doesn't matter how much it is, just come on out. It's from 10 to 1. 10 to 1. And we're also taking donations. We're going to have a donation truck out there so you can bring donations, clothes, small appliances?
Small appliances.
Small appliances. So, yeah.
Shoes and clothing.
Okay.
But it has to be in bags.
It has to be in bags, okay. And on October the 28th, we're having a cancer awareness event. Councilman Harrison and myself are sponsoring that. So please come on out. That's going to be a very informative event. We're going to have some guest speakers that's going to be speaking on a number of items dealing with genetics with cancer, the psychological effects of cancer. We're going to have a psychologist there. We're going to have somebody that's going to speak on just like I said, a number of issues. So we're going to have a light lunch also. So hope citizens come out to that event. It should be a very good and informative event. Again, cancer is prevalent in our community, and it's best that we know as much as we possibly can on preventing it and treating it and dealing with it. All right, thank you.
Expungement fee?
What about expungement fee?
In spring, expungement.
That's in spring.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No,
okay.
You don't
I'm wrong.
Don't put that on us.
Yeah.
All right.
We can ask for donations for trunk or treat.
One other thing. Donations for trunk or treat. The chief, you didn't mention that, but they need donations for trunk or treat, which is candy. So anybody want to donate candy, they're more than welcome to take it.
Got some salad. You cool with salad?
Or give them some apples.
We promoting cavities. I got salad.
Healthy treats.
Thank you for your donation.
You're welcome.
All right. The time is 9:07. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.